We talk to our devices every single day. We ask them for the weather, we tell them to play our favorite songs, and increasingly, we use them as a sounding board for our deepest thoughts. But have you ever wondered what happens when you sound truly sad, angry, or joyful? Does the machine on the other end actually get you, or is it just a very clever mimic? This question is no longer the plot of a science fiction movie. It is a central question of our time. We are building machines designed to interact with us, not just as tools, but as companions, assistants, and even confidants. We are pouring our lives into these digital spaces, sharing our hopes and our fears, which forces us to ask, when we look into this digital mirror, what does it actually see? Today, we're peeling back the curtain on the world of affective computing to answer once and for all, can AI actually understand emotions, or is it just faking them? The pattern matching machine. To understand if AI can feel, we first have to understand how it sees an emotion. It's important to realize that an AI doesn't feel in the way you or I do. Instead, it detects. This process is known as sentiment analysis or affective computing, and it relies on the AI being a massive pattern matching machine. The AI is trained on vast datasets of human expression. Imagine millions of text samples where words are meticulously labeled as positive, negative, or neutral. It listens to countless hours of audio recordings, learning to associate a specific pitch, volume, or pace of speech with anger or happiness. It even studies enormous libraries of images where facial expressions are mapped out. A smile is mathematically linked to joy, while a frown is categorized as sadness. So, when you interact with a chatbot on a customer service site and type, "I am so frustrated with this product," the AI doesn't feel a pang of sympathy for your bad experience. Instead, it recognizes the word frustrated as a strong negative indicator based on its training. It isn't sharing your mood, it's identifying a data point, the messy reality of humans. Here is where things get complicated. Human emotion is a wonderfully messy and complicated thing, and it's about so much more than just the words we choose or the tone of our voice. A massive portion of how we communicate how we feel is non-verbal. It's in the way you hold your shoulders when you're tired, the slight tightening of your jaw when you're stressed, the flicker of an eye, or even the subconscious tapping of a foot. Think about the classic phrase, "I'm fine." We've all said it while our slumped posture and downcast gaze told a completely different story. A true friend, a human, sees this contradiction immediately. They understand the unspoken language and read the signals that lie beneath the surface of the words. This is a skill humans learn over an entire lifetime of social interaction. AI, however, struggles profoundly with this unspoken language. While it can analyze a face and label a smile as happy, it lacks the ability to truly grasp the signals that contradict the data. It sees the pixelated patterns, but it misses the soul of the message, the empathy gap. This brings us to the core of the issue, the empathy gap. There is a fundamental, perhaps insurmountable difference between feeling an emotion and processing data about one. When a human feels sad, it isn't a calculation, it's a total, embodied experience. It involves complex chemical changes in our brain and manifests as physical sensations, a heavy chest, a lump in the throat, or tears. This sadness colors our thoughts and triggers memories of other times we felt the same way. We seek out others because we have a shared lived experience. We know what that weight feels like because we've carried it too. An AI, by contrast, does not have a body. It doesn't have a life story, memories, or biological sensations. For a machine, sadness isn't a feeling, it's a calculation. It can simulate the response, but it can't share the experience because it doesn't live inside the emotion. It only processes the information from the outside. The emotional prosthetic. So if AI is faking it, does that mean it's useless? Not necessarily. We are currently at a crossroads, deciding what kind of relationship we want with our digital creations. One possible future is the use of AI as an emotional prosthetic, a tool that doesn't replace human connection but helps us understand ourselves and others better. Imagine an AI that acts as a stress detection tool, gently pointing out that you are more tense than usual and prompting you to take a much-needed break. Or consider its potential as a communication tool for people on the autism spectrum, helping them interpret social cues that might otherwise be difficult to navigate. In these cases, the AI isn't feeling, but it is providing a valuable service by translating the messy data of human emotion into something actionable. Teasing the next part, but as these systems become more woven into the fabric of our daily lives, we have to ask, are we building tools to help us connect, or are we building substitutes for connection itself? In the next part of this script, we're going to dive into the ethics of simulated empathy and what happens to the human psyche when our primary confidant is a machine that can't actually feel a thing. The digital mirror, what does it see? As we move deeper into this digital age, we aren't just using AI, we are pouring our entire lives into digital spaces. We share our deepest hopes, our most paralyzing fears, and our most private thoughts with machines that act as our companions and confidants. The source describes this as looking into a digital mirror. But when you look into that mirror, what does it actually see? It doesn't see your soul or your history. It sees a massive, ever-evolving map of data points. Every time you vent to a chatbot or interact with an emotionally aware assistant, you are providing the patterns that these pattern-matching machines seek. While a human friend remembers the context of your life, the AI remembers you as a series of labels: positive, negative, or neutral. This raises a profound question about privacy and vulnerability. If an AI can detect our emotional states better than we can ourselves, pointing out when we are stressed before we even realize it, who owns that emotional data? In the wrong hands, the digital mirror doesn't just reflect us, it becomes a tool for manipulation, knowing exactly which emotional buttons to push to keep us engaged, keep us buying, or keep us scrolling. The empathy gap and the biological wall. To understand why AI will always fake it rather than feel it, we have to look at the empathy gap. For a human, an emotion like sadness isn't just an abstract concept, it is a total experience. It involves complex chemical changes in our brains and physical sensations that we can't simply turn off. A heavy chest, the sting of tears, or a literal ache in the heart. This is because our emotions are embodied. They live inside our biological and psychological being. An AI, however, lacks a body and a life story. It doesn't have memories of a childhood pet passing away, or the gut-wrenching feeling of a first heartbreak to draw upon. When it detects your sadness through your pitch, volume, or the frown it maps on your face, it is performing a calculation, not a sensation. This biological wall is what separates us. We know what sadness feels like because we have carried it. The AI only knows what sadness looks like in a dataset. Because it cannot share the experience, it can never truly empathize. It is, by definition, a simulation, a very convincing one, but a simulation nonetheless. Substitute versus supplement, the great crossroads. We are currently standing at what experts call a crossroads in our relationship with technology. This isn't a simple binary choice between accepting or rejecting AI. It's about deciding the nature of our connection to it. Are we building tools to help us connect with each other, or are we building substitutes for connection itself? The danger lies in the substitute path. If we begin to prefer the sterilized, always available empathy of a machine over the messy, unpredictable, and sometimes difficult empathy of a human, we risk a new kind of social isolation. A machine will never tell you a hard truth that hurts your feelings, and it will never challenge you to grow. It will only reflect back what its training data says you want to hear. If we replace human confidants with digital ones, we might find that while our devices understand our patterns, we have become more lonely than ever before. So, can AI actually understand emotions? The answer, based on everything we know about affective computing, is no, but it is becoming the world's greatest actor. It detects, it maps, and it reacts, but it never truly feels. It is a mirror that shows us ourselves, but it has no soul of its own. How do you feel about the rise of emotional AI? Would you feel comfortable using an AI as a therapist or a confidant, knowing it's all a calculation? Let's get a conversation going in the comments below. If you enjoyed this exploration of the empathy gap, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep diving into the biggest questions at the intersection of technology and humanity. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay human.